Life is change, and you can be prepared. This is Sudden Money Insights, hosted by Susan K. Bradley.
It is my great pleasure and honor to have some time with Mariette Tappan from South Africa. She is the first certified financial transitionist in the country of South Africa, but she has a long career as a certified financial planner. And I find her story very interesting. I think you will as well. So, Mariette, I know we can see from the picture in the background that's very South African looking. Have you lived in South Africa all your life?
Yes, I've been born and bred here, and I've been a bush baby, from the beginning.
And how did you get into the financial services profession? That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I said that I would never get into finances. I said I would never become a financial advisor. That was the last thing on my mind. I've always been in business, so since I was a very young woman, I sold things, I worked in places, and whatnot. But then I was introduced to the industry, and since 1992 or no 1991, I've been in the industry, and I have got to learn a lot about myself and about the industry, and mostly about people, about clients, because life is about relationships, isn't it?
Yes. And the financial services industry is really, at the end of the day, about relationships. So I'm interested in learning more about why you made such a change to become a financial transitionist. You had a very successful financial services career. You're a certified financial planner, and you're a leader in the companies that represent clients in South Africa. Tell me your story. How did it happen?
Well, in the first instance, I'm a person that cares, and the what struck me the most was, being in the industry for so many years, I've never really lost clients to death, and here and there, yes. But in 1 year, I lost 5 clients, and I had to deal with, the widows, and it was people that I was having great relationships for many, many years. But suddenly I felt myself that, when I sat in that conversation with that woman and with those families, and knowing everything about finance, and also caring, I needed more. I knew at that point in time that it wasn't enough. I was not helping them the way that I want, that I thought I was able to do that. And it was that drove me to the Transitionist Institute, and finding more tools and more skills and more of what I can do for that particular person, because that is exactly what drove me to that. And really, it was that at that point I felt that all the knowledge that I had through all these years, it wasn't enough. I could not speak to these families. I could not help them in the way that I wanted to. So that's my story. That's why I joined, and I'm so glad that I did, because it really equipped me to do more.
Let's talk about that. How did you feel like it wasn't enough? What felt like it was missing? Or maybe the way to do that, or to answer that, is what is added now that you didn't have before? Because most certified financial planners would say they work with clients in transition. right? Because it's why people hire financial planners. Get me ready for the events I know are coming and the things I can't see. Help me manage them and help me then move on after that. So it's all event driven. What was missing from your CFP and your traditional training?
That's a very good question, there's a lot that comes to mind. But if I have to sort of like put myself in the time zone where I drove through to my client that lost one of my very youngest, oldest clients. I mean, he was my first client, or one of my very first clients. I met him when he was 23, and he died when he was 47. And I went through his, through many things. But when I walked into the living room and I sat next to that widow, I felt that I knew everything about, her husband's finances, but I had a great difficulty dealing with her emotions at that point in time. And I didn't know really where to start. I could figure out the finances, but I felt that I just, there was more that I need to hear. I couldn't really say what I wanted to say. I needed to actually maybe shut up and listen more. So those were the things that went through my mind at that particular moment in time. I said, give me the file that we were supposed to do and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when I walked out of that room with her and her children and her family, I thought, yeah, like I said to you, there must be more than just telling her that she was okay. How can I show her that? How can I help her going through all the decisions that she needs to make? How can I just be more for her in a practical way? And I must say, those were the things that drove me to, to find out, what is there, yeah. So that was really what struck me when I went out there. I felt empty, and I felt that I could do more.
I would feel pretty safe in betting that what you did for that young widow, she sounds like she was in her 40s.
Yes.
So she had a long life ahead of her and a lot of unknowns and a lot of uncertainty. My guess is what you did for her and with her at that time without any of this training was perfectly good from a compliance point of view. The industry says you put the client first and that you make recommendations based on their risk tolerance and everything else that you know about them. And I bet if somebody examined what you had done, you did it by the book, but there was something missing.
Yeah, that's certain. The next incident I had I think it was literally about a month ago, a month after that, was also one of my long clients that, he passed away suddenly. And I had to deal with his wife and two adult children. They, both, and we sat down, and it was like, okay, not again. So how am I going to do it differently this time? And once again, I found out that the thing was, the question that most of these women asked at that point, and it was women, was, am I going to be okay? What do I have? What is at stake? Am I going to lose things? And I could show them that in terms of the figures. But what I found difficult to do was at that point in time was to, and I do have empathy, and I do have understanding, them, but I wanted to have something to help them better, to sort of like get themselves to the next point. And if I, at that point in time, knew better although I did it in a skewed way, I did tell them, okay, well, let's do this and then that, and, what is important, you know, if I had then the decision-free zone and I could tell them, and I could understand that for them to get calm and put their what bothers them right now, and what needs to happen next, and so it would have made a bigger difference. I got to the end, but I think the impact would have been different, and yeah, so yeah, that was the next episode, and then there was a next and the next, so you get better, but there's not tools to help you. So
we hear in the traditional, I'm sort of dividing, I'm saying the CFP and the CPA world, the PFPs world, those are marks of high quality financial planners, right? And I grew up in that world as you did. And there is a shared understanding amongst many, not all, but certainly more common, that those other things that are more, as you said, practical or personal, those are the client's responsibilities. I give you advice based on your circumstances and age and this and that. And I've given lots of people like you advice. So here's the advice. How you manage it and the quality of your life and the well-being that you experience is really up to you. I've done the right thing with the technical and money side of your life. You take it from here. And fair enough. There are a lot of people that believe that. Apparently, you, and it's a shared belief with our community of certified financial transitionists, that, as you say, that's not enough. So I'm suggesting that it's hardwiring in you, because the world of professional wealth advice giving didn't tell you had to do that. It's something inside you that told you that you had to do that. That's what I find interesting.
Well, it's, as I said to you in the beginning, I never thought that I was going to be a financial advisor. It was something, the industry was just not appealing to me. But what appealed to me was to helping people. And, because I really care. And, I was in a situation where I was, very much driven to be independent as a woman at that time. And in a world that was more, that wasn't accustomed to that. But what you say interests me, because I've spoken to many advisors and many clients, and their perception about financial advisors is that it is like very technical, or finance driven, or commission driven. But if you want to have a client for life, then you need to know them. You need to get to experience what they are experiencing. You have to really drill down into their human side, and then you can fix their finance, because we deal with humans and not just only the finance. And I think that is what has kept me into the industry, kept me in the industry. What has driven me, which has sort of like made me kept my clients for many years. I mean, I've got clients, and even in my transition right now, I could say that the thing which I valued most was the relationships I've built, the indirect tools that I use, that I got to sort of like got more, how can I put it, user-friendly for my clients, because I was a little bit like, just doing it in that way, in a sort of like unskilled way. And that helped me to understand them better and to keep them as clients. So when I had to change from one company to another company, they came with me because they knew that I cared for them. But besides that, during the last 4 years, being in the institute and having these wonderful things that I use in terms of getting to know them better, in terms of the communication preference and the PMO, and I'm asking them these questions, and I'm putting myself out of a different comfort zone because I've never had these discussions with them, and they feel uncomfortable, I feel uncomfortable. But we go through these conversations, and they afterwards say to me, "Sure, that was heavy, but it was good," and then with one of my best friends, that her husband passed away recently. We go through a difficult conversation, and I say to her, let's talk about what needs to happen right now, and these things help me as an advisor to calm me down, it's to help me to go through these difficult conversations, especially with people that is close to you, because if you have got these relationships with people for a long, long time, and then having to have deeper conversations with them, with the tools that you have, you need to be strong within yourself also, and very secured as to how you handle that conversation to keep the relationship and to go deeper and to let them expose themselves a little bit better. So that has helped me a lot with handling myself in these circumstances, not just only my clients, but me as Mariette, because it's also new for me in many of the things which I have to do, or which I did in a unstructured way, but now knowing the neuroscience, the positive side, psychology, the effect that it has got on clients, it has opened a whole new world for me, and understanding my clients and myself even better. I think myself better.
One of the things that I hear CEFTs say, see if this rings true for you, that they were, prior to doing this work as a financial transitionist, they were used to being the expert. And someone would bring a situation, a challenge, a question, a problem, and their job was to solve the problem, give the advice, and have the client follow their advice and wash and repeat. And I remember people saying in the beginning, and I was kind of surprised with this is over 22 years ago, that someone said, I'm different because I don't know the answers, and I know there are no answers to be had right now. And I'm confident with my clients, even though I don't know what they should do. Does that ring true for you?
Yeah, most certainly. It certainly does ring true to me. And I think just being comfortable knowing that I don't have to have the answers. Well, previously I wanted to sort of like jump in there and give the solutions and, be the hero. I don't have to do that anymore. My client is the hero. I've changed that my client is the hero, and my whole discussion with the client has changed in the sense that let's talk about your dreams. I'm just here to listen. I'm your thought partner. instead of just previously I wanted to solve all your problems. Now, and I'm very honest with my clients. I have got this very honest relationship, and just sharing that with them makes them more comfortable. And although previously they sort of like were always too scared to ask me for money to release from their investments, now they feel a little bit more comfortable. But yes, you're absolutely right. Just the fact that you are not wanting to solve, but being with them and co-create whatever decisions they want to make. But that is not that's not the only thing. It is the skill to listen and not to take over. And I think a lot of advisors have been born and bred to, okay, you need a solution, you need this and that and the other, and to part with that, even though you are a carer and not just only like making sums, is hard. Is really something that you need to do as you need to do it because that is what you want to do intentionally. And you come to the conversation intentionally. And I had to learn that in the beginning because I intentionally wanted to solve a problem. I'm coming to you and I need to solve a problem. What is your, what? And so it made a huge difference in my relationship with my clients, changing that.
Isn't it true that many times when life is changing for all of us, we have our own transitions. It's not just clients, but there are times in this kind of unknown zone between the way life used to be and the way life will be, when you're not even able to really see the problem to be solved or the question to be asked. You're just there. You may be a little bit numb. You may be bouncing from one thing to another. You may be in high anticipation and exhilaration, or you could be in deep depression and fatigue. There's all kinds of emotions, but many times what society says is if you are this, if you are an inheritor, you are a divorced person, you're widowed, you need to do these things and wait this period of time and do this. So there's sort of a cultural overlay, but that's not the way individuals show up. As they don't go through a cultural sequence of questions and answers and decisions. It's a puzzle every single time. It's a puzzle. And I have to give you a lot of credit because I would think that, and I know that the vast majority of people in the financial planning world would much prefer their clients to move through life sequentially, much prefer the predictability. It works very well with practice management. Its whole software programs are built around that. And it's really disruptive when a client is an individual going through a really tough time of high stakes and they can't move. So there's a tendency to push, guide. I don't want to be too negative with it, but there's a tendency to think that if you would just do this, you would be okay. And I have to applaud you and others that are willing to not be in that predictable relationship with your clients. It's certainly more efficient, but it's not as authentic, is it?
Yeah, I hear what you say, and even in that situation, it is still difficult because you find yourself with each and every individual in a different type of the situation, And you then really want to be so tuned into your client as to hear where they are, and want to hear them and to act in that moment in the best way. And with a client experience, you always well, I ask myself always, okay, well, have I listened appropriately? Am I seeing the right things? What am I experiencing from this client right now? And what is the thing that I need to do most, that would be appropriate? And I think about the time that we've been through in COVID. I mean, the biggest thing that helped me most was the triage. That once again reminding me of those things, is to name it and to sort of like acknowledge it and to help my clients through it. Because I mean, myself as a person have been in that situation. So yeah, I hear what you say, Susan, but it is sometimes difficult to practice what you preach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you are so involved with a client, and then to find your feet, and to be there authentically you, and to know, okay, what is the best thing I can do right now to breathe through it, to not say anything, and to to distance yourself from the situation because you want to cry with a client, and you feel that you need to be there and to do things, but you actually just need to be there. And I think sometimes it is still the most difficult for me to realize that just being there at that moment in time, not saying anything, and just holding the client's hand is actually enough for that particular moment in time. The next time we can do a little bit more. But that is difficult because I want to give a solution right there and then, and I don't need to, and that's okay.
I really appreciate the fact that you're saying that it's not necessarily easy. It's important, it's essential to you. It's not easy. This training is not a one and done. And that's why we have the community that we have, that you're very much a part of, the international, as well as you stay up late. You have a big time difference from the bulk of the members in America, and you persevere. You show up for things when you're not on the 9 to 5 clock. And we all benefit from you being there. I have one final question that I am curious. I'm wondering, what do your clients say about you? What would they say to a good friend, or a casual acquaintance who brings up a situation or financial planning as a general topic? What do they say about you, their certified financial transitionist?
Well, I can with all certainty say that they know I'm different. I am different. I do things differently. I care, and they trust me. And I hear them. They feel that I'm human, and I've asked them these questions because I want to know why they stick with me, but why they have deepened their relationship with me in the last 4 years, and especially going through life changes. And that is the general answer I get, is that you're different, you're human, you care, I trust you, you listen.
There it is. There it is. Well, I thank you for the beautiful work that you do for your clients, because one by one, you make the world a little bit better place, just one person at a time with your work and your contribution to the community of certified financial transitionists worldwide. I thank you for the human being that you are, for the professionalism that you bring to your work, and for your leadership in South Africa. Thanks for being with me today.
Thank you, Susan. I am so, how can I put it? I found a community. I found home when I met you, and I met the community. And I'm most grateful for the work you do because it changed my life as a person. It has also changed the lives of my clients and the way that I interact with them. And I can truly say that out of my heart. And I thank you for that. I thank you for the amazing work that you do, and from bringing the human side to financial side. I felt I was an alien until I met you. So I thought I was going to leave the industry, but then there was more. So thank you for that.